thanks for joining me. Let's get right into the report for April 6th. And I want to start off by giving Rob out at the Bass Hole a shout out. I was out there at the swap meet last week. It was a great event. The parking lot was full the entire day, well, the half day that we had it. Probably about 20 vendors out there. They had everything from antique lures to slightly used fishing gear, some a little more slightly used than others, but it was a great day. Had a good turnout, barbecue. I want to thank everybody that stopped by my table and introduced yourself. It was good to put a face to the name of some of the guys that are, I'm constantly chatting with over the internet, and you guys are sending me reports. I appreciate you guys stopping by and saying hello. Rob is going to have this event, I think, semi-annual. If you missed the last one, you got to check out the next one, and I'll keep you informed when that next one's going to be. Hey, Tuesday I got to go out and chat with the Sassoon Bass Reapers. I was out at their club. Great bunch of guys out there. So if you are a bass angler looking for a club, you're in the Fairfield, Vallejo, Sassoon, Cordelia area, check out the Sassoon Bass Reapers. Good guys. I think they're all level, or they're at all levels of bass fishing expertise. Not super competitive, but you're going to get to go out and fish some tournaments, meet some guys, and learn a whole lot about bass fishing. So guys, thanks for inviting me. I really enjoyed going down there and chatting with you guys. June 24th, keep that in mind. That's Toxic Day 4. I know it's still a ways away. I'll get Caesar on here and he'll give you the full rundown of what's going to be going on at Toxic Day 4. There's going to be bait makers from over the entire western United States coming out to Russo's Marina. Not just Russo's Marina. Not just swim bait guys. There's going to be bass makers, baits of all kinds out there. So this is going to be a great day. June 24th, Russo's Marina. I also want to give Jim out at the Hooked Tackle Shop up in Ione. You guys from the Motherlode know Jim. He's got a new TV show. It's going to be called Hooked Outdoor TV. It's going to be fishing, hunting, four-wheeling, everything outdoors. It's going to be a lot of local people up there. It's going to be national stuff. You're probably going to see in deep on the Delta there, and we'll get you more information on that Hooked Outdoor TV. Here's another thing we've all got to be checking out, and it's the Quest for the Best tournament here coming up next week. That's going to be April 15th, 16th, and 17th. The base for the tournament is going to be in Sacramento at the Safe Credit Union Convention Center. 50 of the best Delta anglers in the West are coming up for a $200K purse. It's a 3-day tournament. These anglers are from the Apex, One Bass, Wild West, MLF, darn farmers. But they're going to be competing for a lot of money, and they are going to have an outdoor expo over there at the convention center. I know Rob from the Bass Hole is going to be up there. For you guys in Sacramento that may be stopping by, you'll get to meet Rob. He's going to have stuff on sale. They're going to have a lot of vendors up there. It's going to be a kid-friendly or family-friendly event. You'll be able to talk to some of the pros and get some tips on fishing. I'll be up at Rob's booth. Stop by and say hello. And I think that's going to be a pretty cool event. So make sure you check out the Quest for the Best Bass Tournament next week. Okay, that's it. We're going to get into Delta conditions here and river conditions and what's going on the Delta. It's not all bad and it's not all good. I'm going to start off by just talking a little bit about a conversation that I had with Ross England just a couple days ago. And you guys know Ross, the famous guide from up in Clear Lake. And I want to talk about this because Clear Lake and the Delta are sisters. If you like fishing Clear Lake, you like fishing the Delta. I wanted to go up to Clear Lake because I've been having some tough fishing out here on the Delta. I thought I'd call Ross up. I saw the reports from the city tournament or the county tournament up there a couple weeks ago. There was a 30-pound bag. I think 25 guys had over 20 pounds, and I think it's on fire. I called Ross yesterday, and he says, "Man, it ain't on fire for me. It ain't on fire for a lot of people." He said it was basically there was the haves and the have-nots. Talked to a couple of the bass reapers that were up there a week or 10 days ago, about the same time the tournament was going on. They did very well too. But what Ross said was, they had a snow earlier in the week. It got cold and the fishing has been tough. Ross is not guiding out there. He's still searching for fish. He has friends that are guiding out there. Even the guys that are throwing live bait, which is usually pretty productive this time of year, are really struggling. So before you go up there, I just want to say, make sure you call one of the bait shops, local bait shops, and see what the situation is. You might find that it's definitely not on fire right now. 10 days ago it was. And I mention that because the Delta is the same way. There are days when the fish are biting and there are days when they're not biting, and there's a lot more days when the fish aren't biting than when they are biting, and there's a lot more people that are getting skunked than catching fish. Keep that in mind as we go through the report. Let's talk about river conditions, and I'm not even going to talk about stripers. Not a lot of interest, not a lot of people are fishing for them out there, not a lot of people are catching them. There are a few fish being caught, but until it gets a little more consistent, I'm not going to talk about stripers. Everybody's interested in largemouth bass. River conditions all over the board. Central Delta, you're going to find 1 to 2 foot of visibility and about 56 degree water. I have had people giving me reports from up north where the water temperature is 58, even up to 60 degrees. I've gotten water clarity up to about 5 or 6 degrees, so it's all over the board. I went out one time this week and it happened to be Monday. It was the wrong day to go. The wind was blowing at 10 o'clock by about 25 miles an hour, 20, 25. Rollers coming down the channel, and it was muddying up everything, so it was kind of a reset for Monday. I'll let you know how I did out there a little later. It's not going to be fun, but I'll let you know how I did. So water conditions are all over the board, just depending on where you are. I can tell you this: if you can find the warmer water, and not necessarily the 5 or 6 feet of visibility, not necessarily the muddy water, but that in-between water, if you can find 2 to 3 feet of visibility, 58 to 60 degree water, that's where most of the fish are being caught. So the same thing, if you're going down a slough, maybe it's chocolate at the mouth of the slough. As you get about halfway down, it starts clearing up, and then you get to the back of the slough, it's super clear. Go back to where that transition area is and fish that area. That's maybe one of the only patterns that's going on. As far as baits go, there are no patterns out here. Guys are catching fish on worms, chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, a few frogfish. That's a big deal right now. Think about frogs. A few fish coming on topwaters towards the evening, but primarily your worms, plastics, punching, spinnerbaits, fast-moving baits, all the regular things. So we got that out of the way. Let's talk about the BBT tournament last week, and this is a real telltale sign here of how the Delta is doing. I'd like to say it's doing better, and I think it is, but the roller coaster, even though it's going up, it's kind of still doing this, good days and bad days. BBT, Fish Saturday, Randy Pringle, the director, the longtime tournament angler, the guide, and the fishing instructor. These are his words, not mine. Talked about the tournament Saturday. The most difficult April bite I've ever seen. That's from Randy. Just saying. Thanks for saying that, Randy. That's kind of the way that I've been seeing everything. Here's the deal. Clayton Williams and Stephen Trigolis, I hope I pronounced your name right. They won the tournament with 20 pounds. Good job, guys. Second place, Mark Casey and Ed Chiristo. Hope I saying your names right. They had 19.4, but they had 4 fish. 4 fish for 19 pounds. That's a good bag. If they put another fish in the boat, that would have been a heck of a good bag. But here's the deal. 2 guys fishing 8 hours. That's 1 fish every 4 hours. 4 fish in the boat. They got second place. Out of 76 boats, 31 skunks, 16 boats got 1 or 2 fish. 38th place, right in the middle, had 3 pounds, 3 pounds 2 ounces. So it was a very tough tournament. I know it was cold and windy. The college teams also fished the BBT. Quinn and Ryan won with 13-4. They were from Simpson College. Congratulations to you guys. I also want to talk about the BBT has a high school tournament also. High school, Jack and Zach from Delta Saints, we talked about them last week. They won it with 15-6. And I know Jax and his partner Nate that I interviewed that won the last tournament, they were in 3rd place, and I don't know what they had, but really good weights. Here's the deal for the high school guys. They're high school guys, they're good fishermen. They live up north. The fishing has been better up north, and I was able to get a really good report from Brad and the boys up there. They had been doing a lot of pre-fishing, and they made the decision to run way up north. Their decisions paid off. They had one team that was first place, one team that was 3rd place, but believe me, these kids are good fishermen and they know that water. Here's my suggestion. If you know the north and you're fishing out of B&W or maybe Big Break or something, and you want to head up north, you're probably going to find easier fishing up there. If you don't know the north, don't think you're just going to go up there and find the fish. Which leads me to another report I got from Alan. Alan Fong. And I talked to Alan. You guys know Alan's a friend of mine. I like Alan. He's starting to get under my skin a little bit like a lot of other guys because he's catching fish up there. I got a picture of Alan with the beautiful fish. He had, I think, 20 fish on Tuesday. But he knows that north area like nobody else, and he's fishing in very confined areas. And again, if you're in the South Delta and you know the north, you're probably going to have better luck heading up north. But if you don't know that area, don't head up there because I think you're going to be unpleasantly surprised. With that being said, we talked about the north, fishing better than the south, and that's where I'm getting the 58, 60 degree water temps. People that are up there talking about, a little warmer water. Central Delta's tough. The South Delta, it is open, except for, as far as I know, the most up-to-date information, the South San Joaquin all the way down to Modesto is closed due to flooding. A couple of weeks ago on the county report, it said there was a bunch of 5-mile-an-hour restrictions in the Central Delta. That turned out to be, the information was out there, but it wasn't being enforced. So as far as I know, the Central Delta down around Tracy area and all that area is open. There is no 5-mile-an-hour zones down there. So it's all open. But that was the other area that was fishing a little better, I'll say a week ago. Check before you go down there because river conditions from last week to now may have changed. It may be chocolate milk down there. It may be fishable. I have not got any reports from guys like Cam that are down in that area generally fishing. No reports. I kind of have a feeling either those guys got busy or the fishing's just not happening down there either. So with that, tough day for the BBT. I have been getting reports on and off. Most of them have been skunks. The days that fished well were Saturday and Sunday. Everybody seemed to catch fish caught fish on Saturday or Sunday. I looked at moon phases. The moon phase was about four days before full moon, which is a good moon phase, but the tides were nothing special. Nobody's catching them on any certain tide. One guy will say he's catching them on the incoming, the next guy's catching them on the outgoing. That has nothing to do with it. The baits have nothing to do with it. It's being at the right spot at the right time. And if you have like we talked about before, a worm, a jig, a punch rig, chatterbait, spinnerbait, standard baits, you're in the right place at the right time, you're going to catch fish. I like to give Preston a shout out. He's been catching a few fish out here. And he basically showed the rods on his deck, and I'll show those to you. It's nothing, there's no magic bullets. He's got, the standard things. Preston, thanks for being real honest and showing what you've been using. I know it's been tough fishing for you, but you're catching some fish, and no magic bullets out here, guys. I'll say I was out here Monday, picked the wrong day. Started out pretty nice. By about 10 o'clock, the wind had picked up to about 15. By about 11 or 12, I think it had to be blowing 20 or 25. I got one bite, didn't catch a fish, and I called it. It was cold. The wind was coming from the north, and just had a tough day. I saw several other boats out there. I talked to a couple guys. Nobody had gotten a bite, and everybody that I saw looked like they were just running to try to get out of the wind. That was Monday. Weather's been fine for a couple days. There's guys going out today. The water has cleared up here at Paradise by maybe 6 inches, a little more clarity than it was Monday. So things are starting to turn around, and everybody knows we just need 4 or 5 days of steady weather. It doesn't have to be great weather. 65 to 75 degrees, no rain, not a ton of wind, and things are going to change. I have to apologize. I've been saying that for the last 2 freaking months, and it hasn't happened. I've been a terrible bulletin board for the, my predictions have just been terrible. That's all I can say. I'll leave it at that. But I've got another prediction for this week. It doesn't stop me. I think it's going to pull around and start fishing. Easter's supposed to be 75 degrees. You guys get out there, start fishing. It's not worth taking time off. From work. Wait till you hear that the fishing's better, and send me some reports. I thank all of you guys for sending in reports. Like I say, most of them have been skunks, but it's going on the uphill. It's still like this. Good days, bad days. Right now, you just have to be out on one of the good days to catch fish. Otherwise, you're going to have tough fishing out here. So keep sending the reports. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And until next week, we'll see you guys on the water.